Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you guys are doing well. So my people, in this particular video, Dr. Oby Ezekwesili really said a lot of things like the state of the nation. She reacted to the new jet Tinubu just bought, as well as she said that this Tinubu administration is worse than bandits. Like, she really said a lot of things here, which I believe she said the minds of many Nigerians. And some people will be saying that she doesn't have that right, to criticize Tinubu administration because during her own administration, Olusegun Obasanjo's administration, that is worse than this and that. Like, it cannot compare these people administration to this particular one we're in. Honestly, there's difference between a leader that has vision, that really want to do something, than a leader that just want to answer president. He doesn't even care about what is happening to the citizen. Right now, Tinubu is in the France, while Nigerians are suffering. Like, look at the level of fuel scarcity Nigerians are facing. Like, this is so terrible, honestly. Let me allow you guys so that you can listen to her and hear everything that she said in this video. I'm going to be right back.
Here we are today. You're one of those who are warned and said we're headed for a disastrous run if we're not careful. It does look like the words of well, you are a Christian, and things are coming to pass. And did you fear that this was going to happen in the long run?
Well, very much so. I mean, the indicators were right there. It depends on in what direction you take it. Whether you decided to think of the ruinous situation we have in the country from the political perspective, it was bound to happen. I mean, what we had in 2023 was not an election, properly so called. There was nothing credible about the presidential election of 2023 and the outcomes that followed. It was very clear that the concept of snatch it, grab it, run with it was going to haunt us if the credible path to competitive democracy was not what we followed in the elections. And it's become clear increasingly, as we've seen the days go by, that we have become victims of absolute collapse of our institutions. And so whether it's the INEC or it's the judiciary, we saw that complete denigration of the principles on which institutional mechanisms are founded. So if you took it on the economic side, it was very clear that we were already in trouble. But guess what? The individuals who are today saying that they met trouble were part of those who said to us that the economy was doing well and that there was no reason for any kind of counter opinion or contrary opinion on the state of economic policy management in the 8 years of their predecessor. So they are very complicit in what became of the economy of this country. And if you look at it from a social perspective, the complete ethnocentrism that drove the campaign in the elections of 2023 basically advanced by the kind of political culture that the president enabled has meant that our social cohesion and our social capital even got really depleted because of the 2023 elections. So where do we start from?
Let me jump in quickly. And there are those who argue that there's been an 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari that really battered the economy. There are those who argue that, and they said on this program that the Buhari government set the economy back 20 years. And that anybody who had to opportunity to run this country after Buhari will experience the kind of problem that we're experiencing today. And do you think that that's not the case?
I actually did say that publicly, that it was not going to be a piece of cake to run the economy because of the absolute devastation of everything that even resembles economic policy. I don't think they were doing economic policy under President Buhari. But this particular administration agreed with it. They agreed with everything that Buhari was doing. So in their own case, nobody should feel sorry for them.
And you think that
they were culpable. They were culpable in it. I think that the problem with the Nigerian society is that we quickly forget these things. I particularly, and you know that I'm very public on my opinion about the governance of the country that I am from. And that's because I understand the basic principles of democracy, that you cannot simply be a person who's got the privilege of education, not just basic education, but you're very advanced in your knowledge, and also you have political literacy. And just because you are in a place of privilege and comfort, then it doesn't matter to you how the country is governed. It should matter. Even when I was in government, my boss, he used to say, in cabinet, he would say to anybody, just leave Oby alone. With Oby in my cabinet, do I need a Ganifa Wehimi? I used to think it was a compliment. And I would say that to him, that's a compliment. Because if we did not interrupt, so for me, my point is that when this economy was badly run under the APC administration of President Buhari, all of these people that are telling us that the economy was badly managed were agreeing with the policy direction of that administration. Why now should they try to dissociate themselves?
On one hand is the fact that the economy was badly managed. And I'm yet to see how the past government or any of those who worked in that government is able to come out to defend where they left off. As of May 28, 2023, and how they defend what they left for the country as the economy, the state of the economy. But there are those who will say,
I still don't understand.
The point I'm making is that those who worked in the last government will probably need some defending of what they did with the Nigerian economy.
Where are you all in all of that?
But the question is that either we got a bad economy or we got a good economy. There is a new government in place. The question is that have they done a good job in the last 1 year from your own assessment?
You use the indicators. I'm always saying that in God I trust, but every other person must come with their data. And all the data, economic indicators, show clearly that they haven't done a good job of it.
Even when you got a very bad...
Yes, they've worsened it.
What would they have done with that bad situation? Could they have done anything better?
Well, for one, they could avoid the fiscal recklessness and rascality that we see. If you are Nigerian, you should be very vexed at this government. All that we have seen since this government came into office has been fiscal profligacy. That's what we've seen. They've been so totally, I don't even know the word. I'm trying to not use harsh words, but it is difficult not to. Because if you see the divergence between what I know to be the daily pain and misery of the Nigerian poor person. I am a pastor's wife, so I get to be in the midst of all segments of society. I know what families are going through. I cry every day because of that. I cry when we read some of the texts that my husband, as pastor of a church, gets. And to see the political class of this country be totally reckless with scarce public resources, a country that is highly leveraged. Being highly leveraged means that we are overburdened with debt. We are crumbling under the weight of debt. When you talk about debt and these guys begin to tell you debt to GDP ratio, that's an incredible nonsense, because that is not the important indicator you use when you don't have the kind of GDP base and structure of economy and revenue, size and scale that those in advanced economies can do. What you are paying attention to is tax revenue or total revenue to debt. And the total revenue to debt has gone from 80%, to any numbers that are higher than that.
I'd like to take you on a few issues. You are a figures person. Your economic expertise, it's up to the global level. That you understand what, in comparative analysis, you can tell where Argentina get it wrong, where Brazil is making the curve, and where other countries like Zimbabwe and the rest of the world, where they are doing right or wrong, and you might be able to give us a sense of what we're doing right or wrong. And then those who say there are difficult decisions that any leader of this country would make in getting into power as of 2023. For example, the removal of subsidy. Some of the major presidential candidates said they would do that. And this government will say, this is what other people said they would do, and this government did it. Why would you blame the government? The flotation of the naira, the complex multiplicity of the FX corridor, all of these things are what this government said they fixed. Why is the economy still in such a devastating state that it is right now? And they did say that, look, some of the policies that they've made is like the paying of childbearing. At some point, you will feel the pinch and the pains, but then we'll start feeling the benefit at the end of the day. Do you agree?
So the thing about economic policy choices is that, it's like a pregnancy. No matter how you try to cover it, it will show up. So if you run economic policies that are well designed, sequenced properly, and which have looked at intended and unintended consequences, meaning that there could be things that happen as a result. Even though the outcome is good, there would be some consequences that would not be so good. So let's take the matter of removal of subsidy. One of the things that I've been public about is that we have seen over time that merely changing the price of petroleum products does not give us a sustained benefit of the sector. And so I have been very vocal in saying that what the country needs is a complete deregulation of the petroleum sector. Okay? We did price shifting many times over now, and we've seen that the sector just does not respond to that. Why is that so? Because there are serious governance issues in that sector. Serious governance issues. So just saying we're removing subsidy was not going to be sufficient. So the governance architecture of that sector is still intact with all of its challenges. And you've done one little part of what is supposed to happen in the sector. Look, the petroleum sector is just like any product. Telecom service is a service. Petroleum is a product. The same concept of how markets work would affect outcomes when you do the right reforms. The right reforms that should happen in the petroleum sector of basically changing the roles and duties and responsibilities of the market and the government has not happened. Why is that so? Because people continue to want to, have discretionary powers in that sector. They want to be the ones making the decisions concerning the sector. And what we know about discretionary powers in a sector that can be market-driven is that it will create distortions. So I'm not surprised. I am not at all surprised. That's one part of it. So, the other part of it.
So sorry a moment. There should have been a dismantling of some sort of the governance.
A complete structural change of the sector. So those who
fingered corruption,
yes,
high-level corruption,
yes,
in the oil and gas or the petroleum sector,
yes,
are not incorrect about their position. And if you do not remove those dirty hands, you're still not fixing.
If you want the petroleum sector to deliver well, you see, we have an example before us. We did the structural change of the telecom sector. Are you still running after NITEL? Answer me.
I'm not sure any 20-year-old will know what NITEL is, or 25-year-old.
There is not much of a significant difference, other than, the issue of a refinery. Okay? So if you got the structure of that sector right, what would happen is that they would recognize. You see, the thing about investment is that it is skittish to environments that it is not sure of. There's a certain level of moves within a sector that will signal to the market that this is a sector I can enter. We haven't done that. Why? Because the politicians hog the petroleum sector to themselves. They love the petroleum sector. They want to have it in their full control. So what they've been doing has been, at best, building a halfway house.
So the government is still not serious about fixing the petroleum.
When they are ready, they will do complete deregulation of the sector. And it would mean that the NNPC, which operates as though it is a federal republic of the NNPC, will just become a player. And it would have to be efficient or perish, because the market would discipline it. Our politicians don't like market discipline. So, they don't like it.
Yeah,
The market is an anathema to them, because the market just enables what we say in the telecom sector. They don't want that. I recall in the days even of the sector reform to prepare us for telecom sector liberalization, how it was that the people who were in the Ministry of Communication were so angry, including the minister of that time. It was like, you're taking away power from them. You see, discretionary powers, as we know in Transparency International, is what kills most of the developing countries, because someone is holding so much power to determine life and death. They're going to abuse it. They will abuse it. But the market will discipline.
And we are, a lot of Nigerians, millions of them who are watching tonight, who may not have the nitty-gritty information and the details of what the rot is. I mean, a lot of people might have an idea that there is a rot within the petroleum sector that we need to dismantle and we need to expose. If there is one thing that this president can get right, and they are watching tonight, what would that be to get us forward?
My goodness, it would be to, find some of their incompetent, my goodness, I said incompetent people. Yeah, pun intended, actually. They get some competent technical advice and begin the process of designing a full deregulation of the petroleum sector.
I don't think he directed us in the right direction.
Well, what has happened? You have to get sequentially unbundle the situation that you have. Because it's a matter of what incentive are you signaling? You're signaling chaos. You're signaling intervention and interruption in the sector. You're signaling administrative powers that are totally unquestioned. You're signaling a lack of public accountability. So, government, we do know that investors care about the rule of law, the predictability, the certain level of predictability, meaning that they expect to know the rules of the game. Where are the rules of the game in the sector, in the way it's operated? Well, why is the sector still so opaque that, look at the latest thing that we saw with the Aliko Dangote refineries. I mean, that's been a global embarrassment. I've had people ask me questions. And, especially because in this country, we were the first country that stepped up and did what we call the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, and I led it. And so we were the country that had this this, can I get this to happen, or doesn't really matter?
No, those who will say, you're saying this because you are not in power. Those who are in the National Assembly says they need vehicles to run the show, to be able to reach their constituency. The National Assembly has said there is a safety problem with the aircraft of the president. You worked under a government that President Obasanjo bought a brand new aircraft. Why are you upset that this government is buying an aircraft that is so cheap? And the price had gone so low, and that those who say, if you were in government,
I'm sure you don't
you probably would have done the same.
Oh, please. That's the kind of beer parlor talk that I don't have time for. Because, the case is very clear. Take, for example, the matter of what ministers were earning when I was in government. In my own case, I actually, by going into government, I took a 90% cut. A cut of my salary compared to what I was earning as a staff of Harvard University. So this is nonsense talk. For anybody to say you were in government, who are you comparing with who in this country? On the matter of profligacy that we've seen in governance, please.
Is this government luxurious in its approach? Did you see anything that looks luxurious in the approach of this government to lifestyle?
I think you're telling me that you're going to ask me questions to infuriate me, so that I will get angry. Thank you very much for doing that. So the thing is, when your priorities are all going in the direction of things that do not add in any way to the productivity and competitiveness of the economy that you are responsible for, and your people are sliding more and more in poverty, especially your young are looking at their future and seeing it bleak. And all you're saying is, I justify the fact that I need a new aircraft. I justify the fact that we really need vehicles that cannot stop on the road because we are senators and we're members of the House. Oh, I justify my being given a brand new house as vice president of the country. And you're justifying just nonsense investment. No, they're not even investments. Nonsense wastes of public resources, and you're telling me to debate that. There's nothing to debate. I can tell you clearly that there is a sell-by date for this kind of behavior. It can't sustain. We just don't have the bandwidth for it to sustain. Where are they going to? This is not going to sustain. Look, the divergence that exists right now, where the political class think that they belong, it's almost like we're running a fiefdom. So we've got this sense of all of the few of them that are in office are thinking of it as, this is our empire, and we give to the head of the empire whatever he wants. The president wants the toy of a new aircraft. So what do you think happens? The National Assembly pretends to itself, and they even dare to say to us that they did some investigation. Well, what investigation did they do? Let them share it with us. What is wrong with transparency? And to think that you bought a 14-year or 15-year-old craft, that as you're the third recipient, user of the craft you bought, and you tell us this long story, and then you go buy an Airbus. There's something wrong with delusion. This is delusional, because it means that our political class, they are seeing themselves as being in a class that they don't belong to. I said it when we were in government to my colleagues. I would say to them, we haven't produced the kind of a country that can compare with Singapore. If the Singaporean minister comes out and is saying certain things, he has every right, or she has every right to say it. But we, with the misery around us, we can't indulge. So for people to indulge, please don't cut this kind of slack for anybody. There's nothing in the expenditures that have happened. And by the way, the critical thing for this country is a restructuring of this country. The truth is that,
happen?
Look, listen, with a credible, legitimate transparent, honest set of actions, we can get the conversation toward restructuring this country. And by the way, don't think that restructuring is a long-term objective. Oh, we have to finish running the economy. Part of the reason that they can mess up in the way they are doing is because of the structure that they operate
Dr.
with.
Ezekwesili, I just have 60 seconds,
literally
60 seconds
yes.
to go. There is going to be a possibility of a 10-year J term for those who refuse to sing the national anthem. You had said you were not going to at some point at an event. But it's been withdrawn now.
No, I don't sing the
new national anthem.
No, I don't believe in that. I sing the national anthem that basically represents the country based on the legitimacy process. Now, they did a national anthem in the covers of the night. Between the National Assembly and the president, they did not follow the constitutional procedure for changing an act. It's in the Constitution. They did not. They basically negated all the provisions. And so, as far as I am concerned, it's my personal choice. When we stand up to sing the national anthem, I sing, "Arise, O compatriots."
Is it compatriot-like if you're not abiding by the law?
No, this is not. This is an illegality.
We are totally out of time. But if Kamala Harris becomes the first female president of the United States, it says something. We see Oby Ezekwesili running for president again.
You know, Oby Ezekwesili is spending her time at training and raising a counter-political class to the rascality we see in our society today.
It's always a pleasure. I need literally 3 hours to discuss some of these issues with you. 1 hour is far from being enough. But thank you so much anyways for honoring the invitation.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Shehu. And the media, you have a responsibility. Public accountability is the bedrock of any democracy. And you can't fail us.
We're doing our best right here, channel.
Look, you may like Dr. Oby Ezekwesili or dislike her, but the truth needs to be told. Yes, my people, like everything that she said here is nothing but the truth. Like just 1 year Tinubu government has brought nothing but sorrow, agony, suffering in the life of Nigerians. My people, we pray that we will survive this Tinubu administration, honestly, because the way things are going right now, we don't even know our direction because our so-called leader, they are even confused. So my people, I would love you guys to leave your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about what Dr. Oby Ezekwesili said here? And please, if today is your first time, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share it as well. Thanks so much for doing so. And I'm going to see you guys in my next one. Thanks so much for watching and goodbye for now.
Welcome to Chamber Seniors TV.